In this tutorial, we are going to discuss the command line argument through command prompt window. This means that we will actually execute our compiled program or file here in the command prompt window. Okay. For example, if we have a file.exe, a compiled file, then we will give some arguments here, some of the arguments, and we'll pass this argument to our file.exe, and that file will actually process these arguments through some programming logic, and then the processing part will give some output, and that output will be printed here, maybe printed here in the screen after pressing the enter key button of your keyboard, just like this one. Okay. Currently we don't have any file here in the in this directory. Okay, so to do this we actually need a compiler, the compiler for the C++ language. So to find out whether the compiler is installed or the path to the compiler is set in the environment variable of the system, so let's see and check the command g++. Okay, actually g++ is one of the exe file or command which is used to compile the C++ file. Okay, so after writing the g++ command, then press the enter button of the keyboard, and if we see, okay, the message is actually g++ is not recognized as an internal or external command. It means that whether the compiler is not installed or the path to the compiler is not set in the environment variable. Okay, so the first option is to install the compiler. So if you don't have any compiler installed in your computer, so you need to download it from the internet. There are a number of compilers for the C++ that can be installed in the computer. Okay, so MINGW compiler can be downloaded and installed. Okay, and the second one is CYGVIN, that can also be downloaded and installed in the computer. Okay, so these are the separate packages of the compiler that can be downloaded and installed in the computer. In this video we are going to discuss the compiler that are already been installed with the def C++ and the code blocks, and we will see actually where the compilers are installed with these two separate IDEs. So to install code blocks, you will need to go to the internet to browse for the code blocks and download code blocks. Okay, and then you can also download the dev C++ from the internet. Okay, so these are the open source and you can download and install it, and by default the compilers will be installed with each of these two softwares, the IDEs. Okay, so if you want to see the installation of the dev C++ and code blocks, so I have already made some videos regarding installation of dev C++ and the code blocks. You can watch these videos in my previous lectures. Okay, so here if you go to the dev C++ and then click on the tools and then click on the compiler options and then go to the directories tab, okay, you will see here a path. Okay, so this is a path to the folder bin. There is another one as well. Okay, so the first path is for the 64-bit version of the compiler, while the second one is for the 32-bit version of the compiler. Okay, so if your system is of 64-bit, then the IDE will use 64-bit version and you can also use it separately, while if your system, the Windows or operating system, is 32-bit version, then you can use 32-bit compiler. Okay, similarly in the code blocks you can see here, if you go to the setting, then click on the compiler and then come to the toolchain executables tab. Okay, so here you can see a path to the compiler folder. Okay, MINGW. Now what we need is, actually we need to copy this path of the compiler or copy this one, the dev C++ compiler. Okay, so we need to just copy one of these path of the compilers from the IDEs. So I will use the path of the code blocks compiler that is installed actually with the code blocks, okay, as a package with this integrated development environment. So let's copy this one, okay, and then go to the start button and search for the environment variable. Okay, so ENEVI. Okay, so here you can see edit the system environment variables. Okay, you can also open this control panel system from the from the control panel as well. You can also open this one from the properties of my computer in the Windows operating system. Okay, so click on this edit this system environment variables. You will see the window here, the small window. Here in this window, this is the system properties window. Okay, here you can see environment variables button. Okay, so click on this button, and under the system variables, this one, there is a path. So click on this path, then click on the edit button, and what we need is to paste the path of the compiler here, or add the path of the compiler here in the edit environment variable. Okay, so click on new button and just paste that folder or path of the compiler that have been copied from the from the code blocks or the dev C++. So let me remind you that every compiler has a bin directory, so you can also introduce a bin folder here. Okay, and then click on the OK button, then also click on this OK, and environment variables. Okay, click on OK. So we also don't need now this one. Click on OK, and we also don't need this panel of the dev C++. Okay, so now let's see and check the command prompt window whether this window is now working with G++ command or not. G++. Okay, there, yes. So it means that now the compiler is installed, or the path to the compiler has been set in the environment variable of the system. So so the G++ command is known to the system, is known to the command prompt, and we can use it. But the problem here is that we haven't provided any input file to the G++. So because G++ accept an input file of type C++ to be translated, to be compiled, and then converted into exe file, just like we do it in our dev C++ environment, where we compile by clicking this one. Okay, or we can also go for the compilation and run that file as well to compile our this first program. Okay, here you can see the compile log of dev C++, that when you click on the compile button, actually the dev C++ activate the command G++. Okay, actually G++ is an exe file. Okay, so it activates this G++.exe file and give input of your CPP file. Okay, so this is one argument that is passed to the G++ command. Then another argument is -o. Actually this .o gives the direction to the compiler to compile this .cpp file, and then to convert that CPP file into exe file. This one, the exe file, first program.exe. Okay, so you have option to change this file name as well. Okay, so it is not necessary that every CPP file with its own original name will be converted into its original name with .exe. No, that can be the name of the exe file can be different from the .cpp file. Okay, we just need the compilation, and compiler just compile the file. Okay, so let's see how can we do this using the command prompt window, this one. Okay, so we need to the directory where our CPP file actually saved or resides. Okay, so I have directory, this test folder, this one. Okay, you can see here, but there is no file currently. So let's save one of the file from the from one of the IDE. This is the file from the div C++, while this is the file from the code blocks. Okay, so both are the same programs, both are the C++ program for implementation of the bubble sort using user defined functions. So I will save this file of the div C++ from here. Okay, and save as, go to the test folder and save this file as the first program. Okay, now we have saved this program in that directory. You can see here first program. Okay, this. Okay, another way we can also write this program. Okay, let me introduce this program. Actually, this program is for the implementation of the bubble sort. Okay, using the user defined functions. We can also copy this file and this program actually, and can be written in the notepad or any text editor. Okay, and you can paste it here. Just go to the save panel and you can save it. Okay, first of all, save as type, change this to all files, and then you can provide a name, first program notepad. Okay, .cpp. so extension is very necessary here to be given. Okay, and change the type to all files and then save it. Okay, so now close this notepad file. Okay, and go to the directory. You will see here, this is now the CPP file which has been saved and edited from the notepad application software provided by the Windows operating system. Okay, both are the same program, both are the same files. Actually, we can use either of these. Okay, so let's go to the command prompt window, and we will try to to go to the directory of test folder where our CPP file actually resides. So just copy this path, the test folder path, and change the command directory with cd command, then space, and then paste the full path of your the directory where your CPP file actually resides. Okay, and then press the enter button. Now we are actually in the test folder. So from here we can use the g++ command and compile actually our CPP files. Okay, so let's see g++, then we want to compile our first program. Okay, .cpp dash o. So dash o is an argument that should be given to the g++.exe file. So this is the exe file or command. Okay, this is the first argument, which is the name of the CPP file. This is the second argument, which is the direction, some semantic meaning of this argument for the g++. Actually, it means that compile this file and convert this file into some another exe format file. So convert this CPP file into, you can give any name, command file .exe. Okay, so here you can see our exe file name will be different from the name of the .cpp file, first program. So simultaneously we can see here, okay, that cmd file will be created in our test folder. Okay, we will also see some another file txt format as well, but I will explain it later. So let's see. Okay, now press the enter button, and the compilation has been performed, and here you can see the cmd file has been created, which is .exe file actually. Okay, so this one. So we have converted actually first program.cpp into command file.exe through compilation using G++ command or file of the C++ compiler. Okay, what we need is now to execute this command file through this command window. Okay, just like the G++ command. Okay, so cmd file, you can write .exe, or you can also, the option to not write .exe. Okay, so .exe, write down and then press enter button. Here you can see on this window, okay, that there is argv of 0 is equal to command file.exe. It means that there is some array inside our file, inside our program. Okay, and that array on the index 0, in that array we have the file name. Okay, and then there is another message sorted array, but it seems that it was expected that some numbers will be inputted here in with the command file, but actually we do not provide it here, so we will again execute it. Okay, similarly you can see here in the directory that a file named, this is the txt document, okay, has been created, and you can open this file and check what has been written here even from the command window here. So if you want to open it from here, you need to write the name of the file, which is file name. Okay, with extension, you must give the extension if this is not exe file. Okay, so this is not actually exe file name, so therefore we need to give the extension as well. This is .txt. so if you press enter button of the keyboard, so you will see that this file name, which is actually this one, is open now, and there is nothing inside this file. So close it now, and let's go to the program actually and see what actually our program expecting from us. Okay, here you can see this is the main function which accepts the argument argc and argv. So argv is actually array type, the two-dimensional array type. So you have an option to delete the, okay, I'm sorry, you have an option to delete this square bracket and introduce the 2 pointers here. Okay, you can also do it like this one, right, like this one, and you can also introduce the square brackets and delete 1 pointer. So we know that array is already a pointer type. Okay, array act like a pointer, and there is another pointer, so it means that this is a two-dimensional array. Okay, so this array will save each and every argument that we pass through the command line argument in command prompt window. Okay, so all the values will be saved in argv array, while this argc, this is this is used for the counting of the argument. So compiler, while by default will count all the arguments that we pass through the command line. Okay, here if we pass a single argument here, this one, so the argc will generate a value of 1. Okay, but if you pass multiple, for example this one, you can see here, if you pass multiple arguments, we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 arguments here. So if you pass 4 arguments to my program, okay, first program or the command line program, then the argc will count these, and argc will set as equal to 4 arguments. So let's back to our program. Okay, Here you can see we are printing the first index value here. So the first index will always be the name of file, first program or the exe file, this one, the exe file. Okay, because whenever we execute the exe file or of our first program, so that is actually cmd file. Okay, so this cmd file, the name of the cmd file will be saved as first element actually of this array argv. Okay, and then this program is actually converting the other arguments to the to the integer. Okay, because every input is considered to be a character or string, so therefore string must be converted into integer array. Okay, so you can see ARR is integer type, and we are also printing those values as string here. The first is saved as string or printing as string, while the second is printing as an integer type. So we are the conversion part is this one. Okay, and then what we do is actually we are using the bubble sort function here, which is a user defined function, and you can see here up above before the function main function, this is the bubble sorting which accept the array and size of the array. Okay, so remember that the first element of the argv is name of the file, so therefore we don't need name of the file as element to be sorted. Okay, so therefore we are considering the one less than the count of argc. Okay, so this will be the actual size of the array that actually we are passing as an integer type. Okay, then we are printing the array on the screen, and then we are actually writing the sorted array on the in the file. So let's see this function. Okay, write to file, we are passing the array and size of the array. Here you can see we have created file name.txt, and then we are trying to write the element of array into the file. Okay, so my file is actually object of type of stream, and we are creating through this object file name.txt. Okay, so now my file is acting like this file. Okay, and we are writing the each and every element into my file, and then we are closing this my file through a dot close this function. Okay, and then our program is terminated here after return statement. Okay, so it means that our program is actually expecting the some values to be sorted. Okay, so let's see again here. Clear the screen, cls. Okay, and then I am going to write command file .exe or without exe. Okay, so you have option for the exe file, executable files, to not write the extension. And then I'm passing some values to be sorted. So these values are actually string type now, while our program will convert into integer, and then that integer array will be sorted, and then sorted array will be output here on the black screen as well on the command prompt window, and that sorted array will also be printed in the file name, which is .txt, and that will be a regenerated this file. Okay, so 5 space 8 space 1 space 3 and space 2. So this is a non-sorted elements of type string, and if we press the enter button now, so the count C, the total argument here are argument to first the cmd, which is the name of the file, this is first argument, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. So there are 6 elements in the array will be saved. Okay, in the array, and the value of argc will be set to 6, and argv will save all these 6 elements into separate slots. Okay, so now press the enter button. Here you can see in argv on the first index, this is index number 0, we have the file name. Okay, name of the file. While in argv one index, on index 1 there is value 5, then 8, then 1, then 3, and then 2. So we have already seen in a loop in the main function that each index is now converted, the value on each index is converted to the into integer type, and we are saving those integers into an array type of integer type in another array. Okay, so this is now the integer type array, and this is the string type array, which is used to save the command line arguments. Okay, so what we do after this is to sort this array ARR, and printing this array on the screen as you can see here. The array has been sorted as 1 2 3 5 8 in ascending order, and this is also expected to be written as in the txt file as well. Okay, so let's open this file. You can open from here. 1 2 3 5 8 is written here. Okay, so this is all about the command line argument, and command line arguments passing through the commands to the exe file. Okay, the file which is created after compilation. So here we have seen now how to set the path environmental variable, how to get to the compiler address, how to compile a CPP file from this command prompt window, and how can we pass the arguments to our command file, the exe file actually. Okay, and the output can be seen on the command prompt. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask me in the comments section below. Okay, and I will try my best to answer all those questions. Thank you very much.